My name is Daniel Sussman. I'm the product manager for Rock Band 4.
It's been a long time since Rock Band was last around. Why now? Why Rock Band 4?
Two reasons, really. One is that we know that there's a market. You know, we've actually been working on a lot of games that are not Rock Band over the last couple of years, and the loudest response that we've gotten to anything that we've done is, okay, that's cool, it looks really interesting. Where's Rock Band 4? You know, it's just been this like constant barrage of pressure from our community to bring this game back. And the other piece is that we know just from sort of the data that we track that there are a tremendous amount of people, hundreds of thousands of people, who are still playing Rock Band 3 on 7th Gen, who are sort of waiting for there to be a Rock Band 4 on current gen so that they can kind of finally make the jump. And so, you know, just from a kind of audience perspective, we think there's a market, and that's really important. Maybe more important to that is that, you know, this team came up with a creative design that is incredibly invigorating, that we're just really excited to build. And, you know, part of that is, you know, a function of us looking back at the franchise and teasing out some of the elements that worked really well, some of the things that sort of created the phenomenon in the first place, and then being critical and looking at things that maybe were sort of confusing for players or maybe off-brand, and really sort of coming up with a focused design that doubles down on delivering a fantasy that I think is very accessible and common to a lot of people. I mean, who doesn't have that fantasy of, you know, playing music with their friends on stage? I mean, it's pervasive, you know?
Yeah. During the presentation earlier, you said that the focus was kind of on evolving the gameplay, innovation and self-expression. Could you kind of elaborate on those a little bit more for us?
Sure. So, I mean, self-expression is a piece of music gameplay that, you know, we've been working on for years, in fact. You know, going all the way back to remix mode in Frequency, you know, like the idea that, you know, okay, you have this gameplay that is very much sort of beat match. We give you cues, you press a button, and there's a simulation. You feel like you're playing the music, but really you're doing what we're telling you. And you know, we've tried many times to sort of build that experience into Rock Band in ways that have ultimately failed. And you know, we took a fresh crack at it this time around, and we have a couple of features that we think are very exciting. You know, some of which are being debuted at E3 in a couple weeks. What we showed today was some work that we've done on the vocals, which I think is actually groundbreaking in terms of, you know, the singer's role to the rest of the band and to the audience. And when you think about, you know, the fantasy of being a rock and roll singer, it's being a front person, it's being on the front of the stage and commanding an audience and sort of pushing that audience into a fervor, and, you know, and then singing loud and singing well. And you know, one of the things when we started talking to people who like to sing in Rock Band, generally they self-select. They're the people that choose to sing because they like to do it, and that gave us a lot of freedom in terms of, you know, what could we do creatively to reward singers who like to sing for singing well. And so, you know, the dynamic kind of vocal approach is that, you know, sure, you could sing the melody that was recorded with the song, and in fact most singers do that because that's the melody they know, but as long as they're singing in the key of the song, at any moment they can sing what they want. And it allows you to kind of harmonize with the parts in interesting ways, and kind of to really forge your own path in a way that is very empowering to that vocalist. And what we're looking to do is kind of draw the singer out of their normal life into that fantasy life, you know, where they are like, you know, bringing the charisma that an amazing lead vocalist has to bear on the performance. And so far it seems to be working. You know, it's like what we've seen is that the people who sing, they have fun with it. And when they're talking to the crowd and the crowd sort of responds back with that sort of swell, that cheer, you know, you sort of watch inhibitions melt away, and you watch people really get into the role and live the fantasy, which is what this game is all about. And so we want to take that and sort of apply it to as many instruments as we can.
And you have the player-driven shows this time, where people get to vote for the set list they want. How does that work exactly?
So, you know, the other sort of piece of Rock Band that we were really looking to improve upon was trying to kind of have more time being spent playing the game and less time being spent sort of talking about or arguing about, depending on who your friends are, what song you want to play next. And yet we know that sort of choice is a big element of these games. And so we thought it would be interesting to try out a system where a player, or a band actually, would be able to sort of vote on what would happen next. And so at the end of each song, you're presented with a multiple choice list of options, some of which are specific songs, others are sort of categories of songs, filters almost, where it's, you know, play a song from the 70s, or play a song with a female singer, or play a song, you know, play a punk rock song, or whatever that is. And the band has 10 seconds to decide, and you know, each band member can press a button that corresponds to one of the selections, and whichever selection has the most votes wins. And so, you know, it does two things that I think are really interesting. One is that it sort of gets you out of the trap of only playing songs that you know, where you are sort of being, it's a great vehicle to explore your song library. And you know, if you have a lot of DLC, it's all the better. The other thing that it does is it captures all of the fun elements of that conversation, that sort of the band dynamics. You know, oh, well, what does the drummer want to play? Of course the drummer wants to play a classic rock song. Well, I'm the singer and I want to sing a song from, you know, Fleetwood Mac. Oh, you know, whatever. And actually a lot of fun comes out of that, but it's kind of held in check because there's a time limit associated with it. And you know, again, from our perspective, as we've play tested it and we're sort of rolling that feature out to kind of our team in general, it's a game changer. You know, when I go back and sort of check out some of the older games that we've done, I'm like, oh, I can't do that anymore. And that's like, you know, to me that's a pretty good litmus test that we're onto something.
And as for the library, the back catalogue, that was obviously important for you guys to have that in there.
Yes. How
How much of a headache was that getting that in?
You know, it's not, I wouldn't say it's a headache at all. It's a lot of work, but you know, it's work that is absolutely worth doing. You know, when we talk to our community, when we start talking about some of the things that are important to people who play music games, content is at the top of that list. And you know, there are people out there that have spent a tremendous amount of their hard-earned dollars on their content. And you know, I felt like, you know, it was absolutely the right thing to do to put the effort in to bring that content forward and to make it available so that people didn't have to buy it twice. And then same thing on the hardware side. You know, if you do have your guitars and drums and you know, you've made that investment and they're in good working order, by all means, buy the game and play the game. That's really what we want. You know, we want people to play the game.
So if you had to sum up in a kind of 30-second kind of soundbite why people should buy, play, embrace Rock Band 4, what would it be?
So I think the thing to remember about Rock Band 4 is that this is best in class in the music category. You know, quality is a very important thing to Harmonix, and it has been over the history of the games that we have made. And so really what we're trying to put together here is a game that is, you know, is best in class, is there for the gamer that cares about the difference, the quality difference, and we feel like we have that. We're, you know, immersing you in an amazing, sort of fantastic set of experiences that put you on stage and sort of give you that rush of performing live music in front of a crowd. It's what it's all about. So Rock Band 4 is out this year on Xbox One and PlayStation 4.